Now, outgoing President Rivlin saying he's proud to pass the baton to President-Elect Isaac Bougie Herzog, adding that he has no doubt Herzog will do an excellent job. But joining us live from the Knesset in Jerusalem with more is Arutz Sheva English editor Yoni Kempinski. Thanks so much for being with us. Now, Herzog won with an overwhelming majority. What made him such an apparently obvious choice?
Well, there were hopes among the staff of Miriam Peretz that there may be a surprise, but they defined it as a surprise because they understood that Mr. Herzog, who was the chairman of the Jewish Agency, was working on this issue and working towards this vote for years already, they say, as he was already when he was in his current position as the head of the Jewish Agency. He spoke with many politicians throughout the year, checking the field, making sure that it's really relevant for him to run. And when he saw that he has all the chances, he went ahead and did it. There were hopes among the people, the staff members of Miriam Peretz, that because of her special, unique personality, her unique story, then maybe because people, the Knesset members, vote secretly, maybe there would be a surprise. But when you looked at the numbers, when you looked at the statements, when you looked at the meetings, when you looked at all the different connections that really Herzog made throughout the years, he's a politician after all, and he was here in the Knesset, of course, as the chairman of the Labor Party. He was a candidate for Prime Minister of Israel, so he has so many connections that we have to remember that the people who voted for the president are the politicians, the Knesset member. So that's the way. It wasn't a big surprise. People thought that maybe we would see a more close vote, but the fact that it's 87 versus 26 is actually, some are seeing this as a good number that shows that the Israeli president was, chosen by a big majority landslide.
All right, well, so the presidency in Israel is largely ceremonial, but it still carries some responsibility. So what exactly is the significance of the role for those of our viewers who may not know?
Well, actually, in the state of Israel nowadays, as we are experiencing elections after elections, suddenly the whole issue of the presidency is becoming more and more relevant. Because, again, also in this case of the elections, the issue is a bit ceremonial. He's supposed to just, give the role of putting together a government to whoever has the most chances. But still, as we see today, he's very much part of the actual discussions, and you have to convince him that there's a chance for this person or the other candidate, and he becomes this role, first of all, in terms of elections, and first of all, in defining who is the prime minister, who will be putting together the next government. That makes this role very, very relevant. There's, of course, also the issues of parole for prisoners. On that issue, the president has the power to make decisions, and that's, by the way, where there are many reports and discussions and behind the scenes talk about, did Netanyahu maybe make a deal with the next president regarding if he'll need a parole? There's no confirmation, and there's many people saying that didn't happen at all, of course, but that's one of the issues of parole. But, and it's very important to understand, that the diplomatic presentation of Israel around the world, that is actually one of the reasons that many people prefer to go with Herzog, who has the experience. He has also the English. He has the experience of being a diplomat around the world. And although Miriam Peretz is a very unique and very impressive personality, many voted for the person who would, as the role of the president is, represent Israel around the world.
Well, as you've said, there's been a lot of speculation that the next president might offer a pardon to Prime Minister Netanyahu, who's under indictment in 3 different charges. Herzog has not given any indication that he'll do this, but the rumor mill is still there. Do you think that there's any chance of this happening?
Listen, one of the things that we're seeing in terms of Netanyahu is that at this point, he is, first of all, saying that nothing happened and there's no problem, and we are seeing him challenging the accusations. He's going to court, or his case is being taken to court. Will we see Herzog pardoning him? Listen, there may be even a majority of many people, even Knesset members, at some point saying that should be. I don't think that we'll see Herzog, the next president, making any decision on his own on that issue. And rumors, as I mentioned before, about a deal, I think that it's hard to believe that there was actually any deal. Was there a wink in the eye? Was there anything else like that? Maybe, but as I say, I don't think that we're going to see Herzog doing any sort of action that will be seen by the public as something dramatic, something that he's doing revolutionary on his own independently. I think that if something will happen, it'll be part of a bigger story of things that the Knesset members will decide if that comes, and only time will tell.
All right, so do you have any indication as to what Herzog's first order of business will be?
We won't say yet former, but as the current chairman of the Jewish Agency, and as a son of a president and the grandson of a chief rabbi of Israel, Herzog is very connected to the state, to the institutions. And, as I mentioned, head of the Jewish Agency, he sees the big picture of the Jewish people around the world. So I don't know to say if he'll define himself right away as the president of the Jewish people, but I do think that we are going to see many, many efforts that we see already today, but more enhanced and improved efforts to connect the Jewish people to the Jewish state.
All right, Yoni Kempinski, live from Jerusalem, thank you so much for joining us.